Scooter Ward from Cold has been kind enough to join me, Ned, on the Underground, fresh on tour. Scooter, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, going really well, thank you. And very excited with the news that you and Orgy are heading our way later this year in October. Crazy to think that you've never been down here, Scooter.
Yeah, I know. It's been, we've wanted to play there for so many years. And, we have Cold Army there that have hit us up on social media for years. And I think with just label changes and things like that, it just never panned out correctly. And recently my goal is to come over there and to do UK as well. So we're trying to get that set up for around the end of the year as well. But yeah, the Australia thing came through and Orgy teamed up with us to come over. So it's going to be a really cool tour. We're actually on tour with Orgy right now in the States doing 38 shows. So
I was going to say.
Yeah, we're 7 shows in. We're in Portland tonight. All the shows are doing really well.
So far, so good type deal. Now, Scooter, are you a big nostalgic type guy?
Depending, I guess. Not really nostalgic. I'm not. No.
No? There you go. Because it's the reason I say that is because you're coming back to celebrate.
Fighter.
Yeah. I was going to ask, what sort of are your takes on that album, and like, do you remember the recording process back then, and how does it differ from then to now?
I do. Actually, I was just talking about that with someone the other day, Howard Benson. We had got him to produce the album. He did the POD record and a few records at that time. He was just getting his footing and producing, getting in with the big labels and stuff. And of course, he's Howard Benson now. He's done major. He's at everybody. But when we were doing that record, me and Howard were talking about it, and it was the first time that he had did a record going from analog to digital. So I think I think the Year of the Spider sounds a specific way, specifically because of that. It was, we had both came from the analog world doing reel to reel when we were recording on the first records, and his records were all reel to reel. So it was kind of, it was both an experiment when we were in the studio with him creating that album. And it was just a cool thing to be able to do that with him on that project. We started with a reel to reel and then moved it halfway to digital, and just kind of half and half and figured it out as we moved along the process.
Oh man, that's crazy. I had no idea about that. And of course, the Year of the Spider holds its own to this day. Are you planning on playing that in its entirety when you get out here, Scooter, or what's the go?
I mean, I definitely want to play it in its entirety, but I'm trying to get with Orgy and see what our set times could be, because we've never played there before, and we have all the records. I'd like to create a great experience where Cold fans and Orgy fans get to hear just more, even more than just the album. So depending on our set time lengths, we're going to play as many songs as we can from everything. We're going to focus on Year of the Spider, of course, but I would like, our fans to get we haven't been there yet, so let's hear it all,
Yeah, that's exactly right. You've got a whole back catalogue to get through first time ever down here. And Scooter, I was reading, I had no idea, and you've probably heard this a whole bunch, but first time heading out here, I had no idea you guys were discovered by Fred Durst back in the day. How did that come about?
Yeah, Wes Borland and John Otto, we all grew up in Jacksonville together. They're all part of Limp Bizkit, and Fred had moved there and he was doing tattoos, and Wes and his brother were in a band called Prompt, which we used to be called Grundig before Cold. And we had always played shows. And Wes, it was, we were like 15, 16 years old. Wes and his little brother were probably like 13, 12. And they had a band called Trump, and they were opening up for us because they were just a 3-piece, a badass little band. Yeah, they played with us one day, and we were doing pretty well with Grundig, so we had them come and play with us at a lot of shows. And we just made that connection with Wes at an early age. And then Otto and Sam Rivers and they were all fans. And when Fred got in Bizkit, of course he was associated with Grundig because they were all fans. So he started coming to shows, and when I remember when they got signed, like Korn had got them hooked up, and I was about to go to turf school to be a golf course superintendent. I was 26 years old, and I was about to give up on music. And so I go, okay, I'd signed up for this turf school in Florida, and I was on my way to go there the next day. And the day before I was leaving, Fred had called, and he goes, hey man, you still writing sad songs? You know, he's still writing those songs. He goes, I have a producer here, you may know him, named Ross Robinson. He did the Korn record. I go, yeah, of course I know him. He goes, well, he's doing Limp Bizkit's album. He goes, I'd like you to come over to my house and play him some of those songs. He goes, man, I really think you would get your vibe. And I remember going over there, and I played a song called Ugly that I had. It was an acoustic song, and I played half of that song and half of Bleed. I played Ugly, and then I played half of Bleed. And when he heard Bleed, I got to the chorus, and he stopped me. And I remember, sitting the guitar down going, thank you, okay. I thought he was stopping me because he just, wasn't into it and gonna tell me, go along, just, we're good. Instead, he stopped me to tell me that, he goes, man, you got to come to LA and make a record. Like, I want you to come right after Bizkit, and let's do this. And, 26 years of my life to get to that point, it was pretty magical. I had worked my whole life to do what I wanted to do, and then right when I was about to go do something else and give up is when the universe stepped in and stopped me from doing that.
That is absolutely wild right there. One of those feel-good stories. And you said you were off to do, turf, like for golf courses and whatnot?
Yeah, I grew up in Florida, so, there's golf courses all around, and I worked at them all through my high school years and things like that, and I just loved it. And that was it. It was either music or I was going to do that. And I'd given myself a certain period of time with music too before I pulled the trigger on trying to get another life, But they stopped, like I said, the world stopped me from doing that and let me create and continue. Like, still to this day, I'm able to do this and make a living. So.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. And do you still stay in contact with Limp Bizkit and the lads there?
Yeah. Actually, we're playing LA Tuesday night, and Otto is going to come up and hang out with us, and Sam Rivers, I think, is going to come too. And yeah, they just played it. I was at home in Kansas City, and they were doing a tour, and they called, and I came, me and my wife and my kid, which is now my teenager, she became a Limp Bizkit fan as well, with the rise of new metal and those things. So she's very excited about it, and we went there and got to hang out, and she got to meet everyone, and it's a very cool experience. I grew up, they're like my brothers, so they're family.
Yeah, man, that is amazing right there. And the reason I asked earlier about you being a nostalgic type guy is because we are throwing back to the Year of the Spider thing. But I was going to say, are you guys like working on new material now? Because you're not a band that seems to be living in the past. We must be almost due for a new record with the last one coming out in 2019.
For sure. The last record when it came out, it was crazy because I had taken a break to be with my sister. She had, suffered through cancer again, and she's doing better now. But I wanted to be there with her, so I took a hiatus from Cold. And when we had did the record, The Things We Can't Stop, in 2019, we were able to tour like 3 months on it, and then we were geared up to tour a year and a half on the album. That's the normal album cycle for touring. And right when we got off the 2.5 month tour, is really short, COVID hit and just killed it all, so it kind of just set the record aside, and we weren't able to do anything to promote it or anything. So basically the only thing that came up during the whole time of COVID was, I think, the Breaking Ben song that I did, the Far Away song with Ben on his album. But yeah, it was basically that record got, didn't get what it deserved. However, it's time to make a new record. So we're gathering things now, and I've been writing, and we're going to work on trying to get in at the end of the year to create a new Cold record for next summer.
Oh, I love that right there. So heading our way sort of mid next year, that'll be winter here from Australia. That's just amazing, Scooter. Cannot wait for that. You're not a nostalgic guy, but Orgy is one of those sort of nostalgic bands from those Limp Bizkit, Cold. I always look at you guys because I grew up listening to you guys.
Yeah.
Were you a fan of Candy Ass growing up because they're playing that?
I was. Yeah, I mean, me and Jay got back together to co-headline this tour in the States because we had toured with them in the past a few times, and we always had good times, great shows. So he was getting Orgy back and doing things again. And yeah, we all came together to do this. So it was cool. And I'm really thankful that you guys had asked us both to come over there and kind of bring this tour to you.
Yeah, and I was going to ask, Scooter, is there a bit of a new metal revival sort of happening in the States at the moment? Because there certainly seems to be over here.
There is. I mean, I know when Sick New World, it's a big festival that was played in Las Vegas 2 years ago, and it was the first of its kind. It was called Sick New World specifically for new metal bands from that era. And it was huge. It was 80,000 people. It sold out in a couple of days, and it was a thing. That's when you could feel the resurgence of it all coming back. And I think with like bands like Kitty are putting out new records. All of us are doing well, and we see it, and just the shows and everything's sold out, and things are going really well over here for that. So
yeah, I did see that. Like a bunch of your shows that you're on with Orgy at the moment are sold out already. That's amazing to see.
Yeah. Well, when we did the Year of the Spider tour, we had just did the Year of the Spider anniversary tour before this tour, and that tour basically all sold out as well. So that just, yeah, it's a new resurgence for new metal for sure.
I love it right there. And I was going to ask you, if you weren't doing metal and if you weren't involved in music, what would you be doing? But I guess you'd be on the golf greens. How different would it be?
How different what?
Like, would the two lives be between?
Oh no! I mean, I grew up. My family, we grew up around golf courses and stuff like that, and like I always worked on it. So I don't know if I definitely have a different lifestyle. However, I like that lifestyle as well. So I think either path that I chose would have been okay.
Yeah, no, I love it. Well, definitely two different worlds there, because my father-in-law, a big golfer. Do you still get out on the golf courses, Scooter? Have a hit?
I have it. I just visited my dad in Florida just recently, and we were supposed to, but my sister was sick again, so we were trying to put some time away to play golf, but I didn't really have time because I had to get back to get the tour started. And yeah, it's been like 3 years, so it's been a while. However, our bus driver, so we got a new bus driver on this tour, and the first day I saw him get in the car, he was, he dropped us off. He was going to the hotel, so he's going to the hotel, and I see him put clubs in the back of the car, and he's going to a golf course. I was like, oh yes, all right. So he plays golf. So me and him are going to take some time on this tour when we have a day off to go hit some balls.
Yeah, I love it right there. And on that sort of topic, Scooter, what's a bit of an out there fact about you outside of golf that might surprise your fans to find out about you? That definitely surprised me, but is there anything else?
I'm a reclusive person. I really at home, when we're on tour, we give everything to everyone, and you wouldn't know that when I go home, I just shut down, and me and my wife as well. We're very private people, so we don't go out much or leave the vicinity of her house that much. But that's the life that we like. She's an artist, I'm a musician, so we just create.
Oh, yeah, man, very much like that right there. And I want to grab a recommendation from you, Scooter. It can be anything. It can be music, movies, downtime, just something you'd recommend to people checking this out.
I would music. Okay, so there's a band. Man, I cannot believe I'm not going to remember exactly where they're from. I believe it's Austria. It's a 3-piece band with a girl drummer singer. They're called Brutus. If you guys have not heard Brutus yet, listen to Brutus. They're an amazing band, and I think they're going to take over all the things.
Oh, yeah, we'll be definitely sure to check those guys out in Brutus, but be definitely sure to check out Cold and Orgy heading our way this October, playing at Max Watts on the 25th in Melbourne, Metro Theatre in Sydney on the 26th, and wrapping things up at the Triffid in Brisbane on October 27. Grab those tickets through thephoenix.au. Be sure to hit these guys up at Cold Music on Instagram, facebook.com/Cold. Scooter, thank you so much for taking time out, man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my dude. Looking forward to see you at a show, man. We're all very excited to come there. We can't wait to be there for you guys. Thank you.